Bitcoin! Bitcoin is continuing to consolidate today, but don't let the relative calm of the market right now or the kind of volatility we've seen over the last week or two fool you into selling. There is a big game being played right now by elites, which involves taking the Bitcoin from your wallet and putting it into their wallet. Don't play that game. Don't believe the lies that you see being spread around. Keep your Bitcoin. If anything, now is the time to buy. That's what the big money is doing. My name is Lark. In this series, subscribe for all of the hottest and all of the latest happening out here in the crazy, crazy markets. By the way, if you want to start earning 6% on your Bitcoin, then you need to check out BlockFi. Their interest accounts are the safe and easy way to earn on your crypto while holding for the long term. Interest on Bitcoin is paid out in Bitcoin, and they offer very competitive rates for other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Litecoin, and USDC. And as a special bonus, if you sign up using the link down below in the description, then you'll get up to a $250 bonus in Bitcoin. So check that out. Now let's start off today by taking a look at the Bitcoin charts, and I am liking what I am seeing right now. Bitcoin on the 4-hour charts is in the process of forming up a very, very large symmetrical triangle. Now, this is generally considered to be a continuation pattern. We are in an uptrending market, so that means it will continue to take us upwards. The blow off back at $42,000, that kind of let the market calm down a little bit. We saw lots of profit taking from whales and miners and all that kind of stuff. We saw lots of volatility coming in. All pretty standard stuff, really. Now it's nice to see this continuation pattern forming up. The implied breakout target for this pattern is actually right around $50,000. Nice big, just tasty round number. Now, a possible scenario for how this could play out might look something kind of like this here. The pattern comes to its terminal point by the end of the month, so watch for these kind of ups and downs and this coiling effect to continue happening. But do keep in mind that we have seen a few of these symmetrical triangles during this bull run actually extending out, so it may take longer to see this play out than is currently anticipated, so do be aware of that possibility. But unless we see the price drop back down to $30,000 or we see it jump up to $42,000, then this particular pattern that we're watching right now should hold its shape and work as just a massive launch pad to help us get up to $50,000. This could be a very strong breakout pattern to be watching. Now, if you want to trade the potential breakout, then there's two areas you can watch for. Now, if the price comes back down to test the bottom green line as support, that is an area that you can put a long in. But if you want to trade the breakout of this, then we need to see the candle closing above the top green line. That's when a lot of traders will enter in. That'll be the confirmation for them. Anyway, the market looking very bullish. With all the money coming in, Bitcoin won't be consolidating under $40,000 for too long. Weeks? Yeah. Months? Probably not. Okay, now let's dive into the main topic of this video, and that's the classic trick that you will see pulled by the media and the big money guys trying to convince you to sell your Bitcoin while at the same time buying the Bitcoin out from under your feet. Don't believe their lies, don't believe their FUD. You have hodled your Bitcoin this far. The journey has a lot longer to go. It's a tough journey, you'll be tested many times, but the end destination is worth it, so don't give up now. Anyway, so last week, the head of Guggenheim Investments came out saying that now is the time to be selling Bitcoin, that this run is over, right? We've all moved too fast. Now it's time for Bitcoin to cool down. Sell your Bitcoin. Now, what is interesting, too, is that he tweeted this at almost the exact $30,000 bottom on the 11th he was telling you to sell. So this guy was coming out saying, hey, sell your Bitcoin now at $30,000. Now is the time to take your profits on Bitcoin, right? What was happening in reality? Well, this chart shows it quite simply. Massive exchange outflows as whales piled into exchanges and gobbled up as much Bitcoin as they could, particularly under $35,000, with a lot of buying at around 30, 32, 31 as well. The heaviest buying and withdrawing to cold storage happened when Bitcoin was down there around $30,000. We saw like 130 new Bitcoin whale addresses. Those are addresses with more than 1,000 Bitcoin. Some of them have a few thousand Bitcoin created during this period. So this guy out there telling people to sell at the bottom. Meanwhile, we saw a historic increase in big accounts buying Bitcoin. What a game, what a game. And just 4 days later, that same guy is back at it again, except now he's saying, well, investors should allocate 2% of their portfolio to Bitcoin, and reiterating his earlier calls for Bitcoin to go to $400,000. So think about that. Guggenheim's target is $400,000, and they're out there saying for you to sell at $30,000. I mean, come on, man. Come on. What's up with that? This is the game that is played. Don't be a victim of that game. These guys are trying to convince you to sell the bottom so that they can buy Bitcoin on the cheap. And the media, of course, they're in on it too. So remember this headline in the media from last week that Bitcoin is now in a bear market from CNN, right? So after a couple days of the price going down, we're in a bear market again. Woohoo! Well, that article was released right around $31,000, only a few hours before the price bottomed out and started reversing. Fascinating timing, isn't it? Now, this is just the latest in a long line of FUD from the financial elites. JP Morgan, for example, one of the most prolific FUDsters of Bitcoin, calling Bitcoin a scam for years before coming out with a custody service for their clients, starting banking for Coinbase. And of course, now they're out there calling for the price of Bitcoin to rally into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. JP Morgan, man. This is a company which, by the way, has been caught red-handed multiple times, manipulating basically every market they can get their hands on, including Forex markets and metals markets. They've been fined multiple times for that. They've probably done a lot more than they've been caught, obviously. So, yeah. When we start seeing these kind of players entering the market, they're bringing their games with them. You have to understand these games and not fall victim to them. So be ready. Don't believe these sharks when they tell you to get out of the Bitcoin lifeboat. Stay in the boat, because if you get out of the boat, all that happens is the sharks get a free meal, and you, well, you know the rest of the story. Just remember that there is still an incredible amount of institutional money on the sidelines looking for Bitcoin exposure. We're talking about trillions of dollars of money that's going to come into Bitcoin here, guys. Now is not the time for weak hands. The CEO of the New York Digital Asset Group said today that 100% of the clients that he has been talking to who are considering massive investments, we're looking at people who are looking at $50 million plus, they're looking for Bitcoin only exposure. Now, obviously, Grayscale has over $3 billion in Ethereum and has trust. So yes, institutions also do want Ethereum, but even at Grayscale, the Ethereum trust is dwarfed by the $22 billion Bitcoin trust. So yeah, big money wants your Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin. Don't give it to them. The evidence is everywhere, right? It just keeps piling up. And if you follow the money and you see what the big money is doing, they're buying record amounts of Bitcoin. They're not selling Bitcoin, they're buying Bitcoin. Oh, and in case there was any doubt as to whether or not the Bitcoin is gold 2.0 narrative is going to continue and that these big hedge funds guys are going to keep coming in, well, today the IMF came out with this announcement telling global governments to spend. In fact, they said spend as much as you can and then spend a little bit more. IMF, man. These guys are hilarious. This means one simple thing. Inflation, and inflation, and inflation, and some more inflation. It's crazy. The great monetary inflation event is upon us, but it's an unprecedented money printing. We're in totally uncharted territories here. Investors will be seeking a hedge. Yes, they're going to buy gold, but more and more and more, they're turning to Bitcoin. They're waking up to Bitcoin since it's a fundamentally powerful and yet highly undervalued store of value for the modern age. We still have like 20x to go or something before we get to the market cap of gold. So that's a lot of return for investors. Anyway, those are just my 2 Satoshis for today. Your question. Do you think that Bitcoin is going to see new highs before the end of the month? Or do you think that we might be in for a bit of a longer period of consolidation? Maybe it takes, 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something like that. We just keep extending out, moving sideways. Be curious to hear your thoughts on that down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.